It is 27 degrees Celsius here in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise Daily, your daily dose of sunshine. And you know why I'm sounding so pumped up, Ayo? We're looking forward to 9 p.m. today. That is the time the Super Eagles will be showing the Moroccans the stuff that we're made of. So go Super Eagles. Good morning and welcome. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.
I really don't envy the weather in Morocco, today, Rabat particularly. And the fact that we're excited is something to cheer. Amaya Makine, good morning and welcome. And to be honest, Maokwe, for those who are wondering why are we so pumped, it's because, hey, it's football. The last time we won this match was quite a while ago. And the most memorable experience we have, a good number of grown-ups have, is in 1980 when the Super Eagles, lifted that cup. In fact, I think it was one of those matches we played. Maybe our guests will help us remember. One of those matches we played that made the vice president, the second to the head of state at the time, to change the name of the Nigerian team from Green Eagles to Super Eagles. So we're looking to another super time this evening, Maokwe.
Well, we do have a formidable opponent who also happens to be the host. And we understand that the tickets are already sold out as expected. But I am wondering, who exactly are we up against? And I think that our guest here in the studio, who also happens to be my colleague, Lucky Sawode, is right here in our studios. Good morning, Lucky. It's good to see you. I hope that you're feeling the energy that the Super Eagles are sending to us all the way from Morocco. I don't think people gave them a chance that they were going to get this far, did they?
No, they were not given that chance, considering their abysmal performance during the qualifiers for the World Cup. But the Eagles have gone out there to surprise themselves and surprise Nigerians, and now Nigerians are rooting for them.
Indeed. So we're now at the place where we're now beginning to say we believe that you can actually bring home this cup. Who are our opponents and who are we really up against? As far what exactly we've seen Morocco play also to get to the semi-finals. We understand they haven't taken the cup in about 70 years or so. Do you think that we have the chance to be able to disappoint them once more?
Yeah, we have the chance if we put our acts together. But the Moroccans, they are not a cup of tea. They are a very formidable team. If you look at their match against Mali, the formation to the Malians was unbelievable because they played so much attacking football and so much defensive. At every point in time, the Moroccan team, everybody was attacking like a bee. And they were defending, falling back to defend like bees. So it was difficult for the Malians to overcome them. And if we are unable to break that formation today, it's going to be a difficult match. But I believe with the team we have now, and with the tempo in the team, with the unity in the team, we are playing against the Moroccans, we are playing against the fans, we are playing against the officials. I think we can overcome.
Why do you say we're playing against the officials? I heard this thing about us having a Ghanaian referee, and some people were saying, oh, I hope the beef with Nigeria. I hope that at this occasion they will see us as brothers. What do you mean we're playing against the officials?
Yeah, incidentally, the officials appointed for this match somehow have been involved in matches where the Moroccans won. And so there is that fear that Nigeria may lose because of these officials. But CAF has assured us, NFF has assured us that it's going to be a fair officiating. So but Nigerians are actually scared that if we play against the fans, we play against the officials, the officiating officials, then it's going to be an uphill task for us to overcome the Moroccans. But beyond that, I think the most important thing is our ability to break that team, because the way they attacked against Mali and the way they defended against Mali, this match might likely go into an extra time.
Oh, well, yeah, we also saw that match with Cameroon. I don't think that match isn't going to extra time. It was 90 minutes on the dot. Morocco against Cameroon. And I don't know if we felt like we had to avenge. I'm just looking at the formation now, what is left. We have Senegal versus Mali, and we have Nigeria versus Morocco. Yes. Two West African teams against two North African teams. The idea behind AFCON is to bring Africa together. Do you think that somehow we're seeing a new sort of emergence where it seems like we have this dichotomy between North Africa versus Sub-Saharan Africa?
No, we don't really have that dichotomy. But the issue is that somehow, the North Africans are up against the West Africans. And today, all the four teams will be up in arms. So two must go for the finals. And I see Nigeria as one of those two. In fact, I see Nigeria as the winners of this 2026 AFCON if we can overcome Morocco. And I strongly believe that we can overcome Morocco. I
think it's a fine place to leave it, but what are you predicting we're going to win by?
1-1 after full time and extra time penalties.
Penalties?
Yes.
You want us to go to penalties?
Yes, we'll win.
Oh, dear Lord, I sincerely hope we don't. Usually the fever for that is too much. But we have to thank you so much for your prediction this morning, Mr. Lucky Sawode, who is my colleague and also a member of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning and taking a look at what exactly we're going to be doing. So the match time, for those of you who are wondering, is 9 p.m. I already told me very reliably that he doesn't intend to watch this match. He's on doctor's orders, according to him. He loves us too much, but that he certainly will see the highlights. But I hope you don't miss all of the action, because I will be looking forward to that match. I don't know about you. In the meantime, we're going to be going to Edo State in a moment, where there are developments with regards to the riots that happened on Saturday. Right now, we understand that the governor of the state has ordered the release of students involved in that particular protest, saying that it does appear that there are two categories of people, students and another cult group called the Ambrose Alli Comrade Community. We'll be speaking with the Commissioner for Education shortly after now. In just a moment, please stay with us.
Some persons that tagged themselves students went on rampage, and from protest it turned out to be a riot, stealing, maiming people, you know, and all that, going into even the palace of the king to steal even the weave-on of his wife, you know, steal Indomie. So that's no longer a protest. And people should understand that those same people are part of Edo State, and they will cry to the governor. And of course, he's saddled with the responsibility of securing their lives and property. So, irrespective of whose ox is God, he gave the clear instruction to the Nigerian police. And the police did their job. They did the raid, carried out the raid and all that. And at the end of the day, those that are not culpable should be released. That's the instruction of the governor. And that's what we're doing.
Well, that was the Commissioner for Education in Edo State, and he joins us now. Dr. Paddy Emmanuel Iyamo joins us right now after that appearance yesterday on our media house. We have to thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Iyamo. Can you tell us precisely when the state government became aware of this new information that there were two categories of people? From the perspective of the state government, what truly went down on Saturday?
Okay, good morning, and thank you very much once again. Okay, so the first question, in the course of the investigation, we now found out that the AAU comrade community is another group, because before the protest happened, we got wind of the information, we engaged the relevant stakeholders there, and intimated them of the steps the government is taking to avert any eventuality. But funny enough, this particular group, you know, wrote a communique to some of the students with their letterheaded paper, because even the student union president was not part of it. If a protest is to occur, is to happen, the student union government.
Deployment of heavy, beg your pardon, let me read it as they say. They've supervised the heavy deployment of personnel in Ekpoma in company of the Commander Mechanized 4 Brigade, Brigadier General Ahmed Olatunboju Balogun, to personally see the deployment of personnel in collaboration with sister security agencies, including the Nigeria Army, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Edo State Security Corps, and hunters to sustain public safety and tackle the issue of kidnapping and other criminal activities. I want to believe that this is after the riots of Saturday. Is that correct?
No. You know, the governor has been on his toes. He has been having security council meetings. He has bought over 120 Hilux vehicles. He has employed over 2,000 staff from the Edo State Security Corps. He has bought over 100 motorcycles, you know, to give the security agency so that they can go into the bush. He has also strengthened the local surveillance. He's having meetings severally with the traditional rulers there, and even the local government chairman are part of it. So he has been doing quite a lot. But with this new development, we have to up the game, you know, because we are now seeing that some persons are trying to hijack the process. And when the governor speaks, he talks about political undertone to it. We found out that some of this group or this particular group in question, you know, have some affiliation with certain people, you know. So the police, you know, decided to, you know, pick up the necessary things to see how we can avert any more, you know, kidnapping as it were.
Which of the actions now have political undertones? Is it the riots that happened on Saturday or the kidnappings which preceded the riots on Saturday?
Okay, that group in question, you know, it's they pose a threat, you know, to some of the happenings around there, with the operation that is not in line with ethical standards. You know, it calls for questioning. So both whatever is happening there now, you know, anything, the police is in a better position to advise us. But that group in question, their intent and their intention is not clear. So that's why the police and the governor is taking it up seriously and squarely.
Dr. Yamu, which of the groups is the question I'm asking? Is it the Ambrose Ali comrade community, or you're talking about the people who have been behind the kidnappings prior to Saturday, which was the excuse, was the pretext under which the riots happened on Saturday?
Both that group and all those behind the happenings around that area.
All right. Well, this is where we are now. My colleague Ayo wants to quickly come into this conversation, so I think I will go to Lagos.
Well, thank you, Mokwe. Well, you know, Dr. Yamu, let's begin with an announcement that you made that in the wake of this insecurity, if we can put it that way, that school resumption is closed. What's the update on that? When are students likely to go back to school?
Okay, we have released the communique, you know, this morning. Students are to return back to school on Monday. So schools resumes in the central on Monday because normalcy has been restored. You know, the governor is even still in the general area trying to make sure that the peace is sustained. And so far, so good. Normalcy has been restored.
Okay.
Security agencies are doing a lot. We didn't sleep till 1 a.m. this morning, you know, trying to release the students, you know, some of them yesterday, and we're going to release the last tranche.
Now, just to be clear, how many students to be released? Just to be clear, how many students are to be released? Because we understand that even the SUG president is on his way to the same prison now. So how many students have been released? How many students are going to be released altogether?
Altogether, we are releasing about 38 students.
Okay. All right. Now, to the issue at hand, was the state government aware of this comrade community before this time? or was the student union government aware of their existence?
Yeah, the students' union government were aware of their system, but they didn't know that it will escalate to this point. So immediately the government found out that some persons are trying to hijack the process, because there was to think of it that on the 13th of May, if I'm not mistaken, they had a peaceful protest in Edo State. People protested because of the cultism, and they did the procession straight to Government House. And the governor received them himself, even took them into his office. After addressing them outside, he took them into his office, and everything went on smooth. There was even one, the major activist that was even part of them, from this part of the state. And they were all in the governor's office. He addressed them, and he took decisive steps. A lot of houses have been brought down. The governor is somebody who is a no-nonsense person, anybody who knows him. He destroyed houses, destroyed even the headquarters of some of the places where they have some of those meetings. And for the first time in Edo State, during the Christmas period and the New Year period, nobody was shot. Everyone went about their normal duties. The Yuletide season was peaceful relatively. So one expects that if people are going to be also making their pains known, you need to do it in a very orderly manner, so that the government, in a usual manner, will also take steps. But taking laws into their hands, going to steal, going into the palace of the king to do a lot is totally out of it. And His Excellency has frowned at such action and is taking decisive steps to make sure that we flush them out of our state.
Well, the basis of the protests, which turned, before it turned rioters, was that they were protesting against insecurity. And even the governor, while speaking, concerning the fire that took place, also said, and I quote, "A lot of things are happening here now, but we are going after them. They are killing our people with the name they are Fulanis, they are not Fulanis, they are political elements. We have started arresting them." I want to believe that the governor wasn't just speaking off the cuff, he had information. So what exactly can you tell us about the rising insecurity that brought us to where we are now? What's the state government doing to ensure that the people can feel safe again?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, the governor has bought over 100 hillocks and given to the security agencies, to intensify patrols across the area. The governor has also bought over 150 motorcycles, and given to the security agencies, so that for those who cannot, move beyond a particular area, they have access to go into the bush and comb the forest. The governor, as well, 2 days ago, also, there's area surveillance that has been ongoing. It's also on the social media. The governor also employed over 2,000 vigilantes in the state to make sure that we also address this menace. The governor, as well, is also engaging weekly with the security agencies, security council meetings, the local government chairmen, the traditional rulers. So he's doing quite a lot. People forget that the governor comes from the central. And as I mentioned yesterday during the interview, if there is anywhere the governor will want to even, let's assume that, okay, the person does not even care. Not in his home state, not in among his people. He has his family, he has his brothers and sisters living there. So there's no way he can sit down and fold his hand, as some people will just go on social media and start asserting. So these are quite a number of things he has. And there are some other things that I cannot also divulge. The governor gets the security reports in the state. The governor also he has the privileged information of some other things that we're doing. He has also bought armored vehicles. So the man is not sleeping.
Well, the governor, while speaking to the people whose shops were burnt, talked about political elements. And you have also reiterated something else that he said, that a Russia-based Nigerian was behind the violent protest. So who would want a state they love to burn down? What can you tell us about these elements that the governor and yourself have been talking about?
Okay, you know that one of the things we need to do as a people is to do mind re-engineering. If you are in government and the government favors you, thank God. If you are not in government and by virtue of what's happening, the government does not favor you, the state, people should remember that the state is our state. The state is for all of us to build. It's not tomorrow. The tables could turn. It could now favor you. But if the state you are not in government, you are in the opposition, the onus lies on you to protect your state. So many people, go behind to start doing things to truncate the government, so that people will see the governor in bad light, so that even the president and other people will think that he's incompetent. But everybody knows the governor is more than competent. For those who live in Edo State, we can see the developmental strides. We can see all the things that the governor is doing. So these are distractors. They want to derail and divert the attention from the development that is ongoing in the state, and create a particular impression that the state is not safe. But thank God for the governor that we have. I think if you ask those that are around there now, normalcy has been restored. The children are going to be resuming on Monday, and at least the people are having a sigh of relief. And they have also seen that somebody who is going to burn that, what is the business if you want to protest, for God's sake? What's the business with the person who is struggling? You go and burn down the person's shop. So of course, anybody who is in his right thinking mind will know that there is an undertone. If I'm going to do a procession, if I'm not pleased with a particular situation, I should go about it in a civilized manner. I just made reference now. You can even go to the page of the governor. On the 13th of May, people said, oh, there is cultism, people are killing themselves. Every week, you find one youth or the other dying. And they did that protest to the government house. And the governor said, oh, you are my people. Edo is for us. Don't worry. I will make sure that we smoke them out. In his words, I will make sure that we smoke them out. Immediately, we started seeing some housing that was even destroyed. You see skull of a human being in it. You see different things. Even landlords in Edo State are now afraid to give out their house to people they don't know, because they know that the governor is somebody that once he gets the intelligence, the house is going down. So when you look at the whole situation holistically, you are burning. You say you want to protest. You are going to steal goats. Say you want to protest. You go into the palace of the king. You steal with honor. You steal even Indomie. You go into the cattle market. You steal goats. You steal a cow. You steal chicken. So they want to cause tension in the state, where the Fulanis will now fight back. And when they fight back, there will not be chaos. Then they will say, oh, they should declare state of emergency, or they should do one thing or the other. But thank God, the man they are dealing with, it's not an easy nut to crack.
Well, Dr. Yamu, there are times we have had conversations on this program, and even top security agencies like the police and the army, as well as security consultants, have told us quite a number of times that the root of most insecurity is poverty. And looking at the NBS figures as at September last year, in Edo Central, where this whole thing is happening, the poverty rate in Edo Central in particular is put at 35.8% of residents living in the area. So that's about 27.6% of residents live in poverty in Edo State, while 35.8% of residents live in poverty in Edo North, and on and on and on like that. Is it something that the governor or the government of the state is aware of and taking on? Because when people are well fed, I'm wondering how it'll be. When they are satisfied, they don't have a sense of poverty. I'm wondering if there will ever come to a time where they will have to be stealing and looting.
Okay. Well, I don't, if you check the report that you just quoted from, I'm sure maybe that report was published before the governor came on board. As of today, in the last 1 year that the governor has been in office, as of today, the governor has done quite a whole lot. That place in particular, he has given several, support to small business owners. He has attracted 132 billion naira road construction in that area. They have been in those who go to the farm and they have their produce are unable to even go to Benin to sell. Now the governor has attracted the road dualization of the road and the construction of the road from the federal government. And the federal government graciously approved a 132 billion naira road construction presently in that place. If you talk about even the youth population, the governor for Ambrose Alli students, we met, thank God, I'm Commissioner for Education. There were 128 students, medical students that were sitting at home for the past 4 years, no induction. The governor intervened, they went, today they are practicing doctors. We had 810 nursing graduates that were sitting at home for 5 years. Again, when the governor came with the intervention, we were able to clear the bottlenecks from Abuja and all the relevant councils, and they have been deployed across our states, across even Nigeria, to practice. We had the case of over 1,100 youths, 1,100 people who went to the university there, especially Ambrose Alli particularly, and they couldn't go for service because of JAMB irregularities. Today we have cleared them. They are all over the country serving the nation so they can get jobs. We have a situation whereby at the Ambrose Alli University, we met a paltry sum of 41 million naira when the governor came on board. Monthly subvention. So the university didn't have money. They were going about admitting students to collect school fees to meet up with their financial obligation. And because of that, they threw caution to the wind. They were over-admitting, even in medicine and all. There was so much catastrophe. There was so much catastrophe, but the governor again increased this monthly subvention from 41 million to 500 million naira monthly. We have again inside the school, there are people who their roads that are not connected. Again, we have attracted an 11-kilometer road from the NDDC, worth over 11 billion. We have a situation whereby even students that do not have money, the governor has also earmarked 1 billion for bursary. All these activities are steps taken to ameliorate and to improve the living standard of the people. Even the road construction, massive road construction, the governor has also attracted again the federal college of health. All these activities the government is doing.
We hear you in terms of some of the developments. Dr. Yamo, I don't know if you can hear me. I wanted to, we're saying that we've noted some of the developments happening for tertiary institutions, particularly for the Ambrose Alli University in Ekpoma. But let me quickly bring you or take you up on this issue of the WAEC CBT examinations. There are questions about preparedness and safety concerns or safety of students in Edo State. Take you up the CBT WAEC. See this particular news, and if you have any concerns about the fact that WAEC is now beginning to think of computer-based testing for its examinations. Does the government of Edo State have any concerns in this regard?
Okay, thank you very much, Mokwe. Again, the governor is somebody who loves education, unlike what we see on the social media. It will interest you to know that the governor has earmarked in our budget for this year. The governor has earmarked over 22 billion to build CBT centers. We have identified that gap and we are prepared to face it head on.
It's one thing to build the centers, it's one thing for students, or it's another for students to know how to use the computers and be versed and comfortable in being able to answer questions. So are you also reassuring students that they will be ready in good time for whenever it is that WAEC eventually decides to start the process?
Okay. If you watch some of our videos, some of the schools that we're building, we are already making provision, for computers. We're already preparing the students. By next week also, I believe you are going to see it on the social media. The governor has also equipped one of the libraries in Edo State. We have been walking around the clock during the holiday with computers, so that the students also, even after the academic session, they can also go there to also go and learn, use the computer, and be abreast with how it operates. So we have already started planning for that, and we'll even do more, especially with this allocation. We are hitting the ground running, and all these things are just things that will more or less divert the attention of the government. But we are resolute, and the governor is somebody who has made up his mind that, irrespective of anything, will keep the ship sailing.
All right, then we will certainly keep tabs on developments in your state. We have to thank you for speaking with us this morning. You have already said at least 38 of the students, or 38 of those arrested are students, and you expect that they will be freed. Is it today or before the end of the week?
We have started releasing them yesterday. We are releasing the remaining today. The governor's instruction is very clear, and we are working. They would all have been released yesterday, but the ones that we're going to release today were taken to court. So, we have to follow due process. If the governor is a due process man, follow due process. And the Milord will sign off the money. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about the reputation of Nigeria and how it is perceived abroad. Of Nigeria and how it is perceived abroad. Well, the NIPR is doing its first ever report on the Reputation Perception Index report of Nigeria. If you're interested in it, find out about it after this break. Well, you've often heard the saying, perception is reality. Well, we'll find out just how much of a reality is Nigeria's perception when we take a look at the first ever index 25 reports about the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And let's start right now. President, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and thank you for your patience.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so indeed, this is what we're looking at now, this Reputation Perception Index. Very interesting concept.
Yeah,
what did you do? Did you take a look at how, did you do a vote of how foreigners, is it how foreigners see us, or is it how we see foreigners? How is this, who is rating, or whose perception are we looking at?
Well, thank you so much for agreeing that it's a very important thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
For long we've spoken about Nigeria emotionally and politically. Hardly has anybody ever taken time to do a scientific study of what we think of ourselves as Nigerians and what others outside who relate with us think about us. This is a major gap, because reputation is something you must measure. If you don't measure it, you cannot tell where you are, you cannot understand where you are well and what you need to do differently to get the result. So what we have done is to fill that gap. Of course, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations is the sole regulator in this area. And we realized long ago that there is nobody manning the reputation gate of this nation. And like the chairman of our body of advisors of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group rightly stated, Dr. Tony Momo, that reputation determines to a large extent the kind of investments you get in a country. And it's also very important to note that when it is down, it can also take away even your citizens from that environment. And so we have deliberately decided that we shouldn't wait for foreign organizations and NGOs, whether it's Transparency International and the rest, to tell us what we are doing and where we are. So we develop a homegrown framework that we call Perception reputation perception index. And essentially, that is to ensure that we take into consideration our cultural realities, we take into consideration our environmental factors while being very competitive internationally. So we now have a framework that has been adjudged by our local and international professional colleagues and partners to be one of the first scientific way you can measure reputation and perception. Probably we should start by distinguishing the two. You know, reputation, you might call it a track record. Reputation is something you build. It's something that you establish over time. It is not something you can buy. Perception, on the other hand, is a passing impression of that entity. And that means that you can buy perception, but you cannot buy reputation. Reputation is a product of your behavior over time, of how you have handled different situations. But perception is interpretation of a third party about you, which may not be real.
So I find it very interesting that you have been able to develop this framework. It's one thing to develop the framework, it's another thing to actually apply it and be able to really measure it.
Exactly.
So I imagine that you'll have to do some sort of polling.
Yes.
Perhaps speaking with citizens, maybe within and outside the country, and also speaking with foreigners as well. How big was this research? How big was this polling to arrive at what it is you finally have as a report?
Yes, we had a wide range of respondents. Yes, we had domestic, which was a larger percentage of it. We also had international. And these respondents, particularly international, came from 36 countries, from 5 continents. And of course, we use both questionnaire. We also use qualitative techniques like focus group discussion and all that to have insights into what they think about us. We, of course, had a total sample of over 4,000, and 65% of that is largely from Nigeria, and 35% is from our partners across these 5 continents, including Nigerians in the diaspora. We also have techniques to equally ensure that even locally, the sampling was such that all the 36 states of the Federation, we do respondents from there. And it's a scientific process. It was not just the issue of determining this is the person you want to hear from. So we also looked at the fact that since we are talking reputation and perception, there are different stakeholders involved. You have students, you have NGOs, you have even public sector, you have private sector players, and of course our potential investors. So these were covered, and it's an aggregate of it that has given us a score.
I do not want to preempt this particular report, the release of this report, because I imagine it's happening today, right?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Tomorrow at the National Assembly Library Complex by 2 p.m.
By 2 p.m. So we'll be getting the details then. But can you speak to us about some of the indicators that were brought up as part of the framework?
Yes. We were looking at governance pillars. There are 7 pillars. The framework has 7 pillars. And the 7 actually has about 5 that are focused on leadership, focus on performance, focus on communication, focus on credibility. These are governance pillars. They're actually 4 for governance. And then you have others like social equity, you have culture, and you have innovation. Innovation is very strategic in terms of determining the quality of the rate at which we adapt what we want to do to get to where we are. Because there are changes happening every day. And so you must understand what is happening outside the environment. You must understand what is happening within the environment. So the framework lays a lot of emphasis, 80% of it on leadership, lays a lot of emphasis on credibility, on your performance, on innovation. Before you talk about social equity and culture.
At the risk of preempting what the report says, can you tell us where it is that we did really well and where it is that you want Nigerians to concentrate?
Today we are talking football. You started with football. So I'll give you an example of where Nigeria did well. When we were to play Algeria, I saw a video clip of saying Nigeria will send you to Sambisa Forest. Now that is talking about perception.
Yeah.
You know, it's talking about what they hear about us in the news. So all they know about Nigeria is crisis, and all that. But the same situation, but with Moroccans. What did they say? They say we'll revenge what we did to our girls. They are talking about sports where they know we're doing well. That is reputation. Our girls have done very well. So you see the same situation but different approach. So that tells you that culture, which includes sports, is one of our strongest assets. It includes music, it includes Nollywood. This is our big reputational assets, as it were. And it came out in the report, of course, without going into details of the score, because the framework has a score. Just as a student will have a score in a subject. So at the end of the day, tomorrow we say, this is the score for Nigeria. And I must tell you, it has nothing to do with assessment of any specific government. Because like I said, reputation is taking time. Talking about Nigeria. So the score we're going to have is to say, this is where we are at the moment. It's important, as we talk about this, to realize that an entity can have strong reputation and weak perception. Just as you have reputation and strong perception. What do I mean? Take, for instance, you know, even in our day-to-day life, you have professionals that are very good in their disciplines, but they are media shy. They are not interested in talking. They don't want to be in the forefront. So they might have strong reputation because of what they have been doing, but they are likely not to be understood. And so it depends on, somebody might just wish them away because they are not in the public domain. And so such individuals have strong reputation, but weak perception.
In other words, perception is not always reality.
No, perception is not reality. It's an individual's reality. It depends on who is reporting that perception.
Well, let me go to my colleague, Ayo. You still didn't tell me, you know, where it is we're not doing so well. You spoke about culture as one of the areas where we're doing very strongly, but yes. You're yet to mention that. Maybe Ayo will be able to pry it out of you. Ayo.
Perhaps a good way to start that particular angle, Maokwe, is to ask, how much of education or background or preparation did we give Nigerians before this report is ready? For instance, was there what was the benchmark, what was the baseline before this report, the process started?
Well, that's interesting. The Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, as you know, has been there since 1963 and were established by law. 4 years back, we deliberately went on what we call Citizen Summit for National Reconciliation, and we started from the grassroots level to the state capitals, to the zones, and ended up here in Abuja. So we were able to collate information from Nigerians, what they think is going on right with Nigeria, what they think is wrong, what they think each stakeholder needs to do. That report was presented to the nation, and it is indeed what has led to the establishment of the Nigerian Reputation Management Group, which of course is being championed by Dr. John Momoh as chairman of the advisory committee. And of course, it also has a board that is chaired by Yomi Badejo, a seasoned public relations professional in this country. So that was one of the initial processes. We had data that we needed to understand how Nigerians feel and what are the issues. If you go to the NIPR website, you get a report of that effort that we did, and it categorized our challenges, particularly as it affects reputation, into 8 different chapters. And so what this very leader, 8 different chapters. And so what this very leadership of NIPR led by Dr. Ike Nelaku did is simply to implement the template that we had already gotten from the field. Secondly, we have over the years been providing support in different areas. Our members are in different segments of this nation, whether it's public space or private spaces. And so we know the reality on ground. We have seen companies that have folded up because of the challenge of reputation. Companies ordinarily were doing very well and had to leave. We've seen public institutions doing very well. Yet the impact is not being felt in terms of the benefit that will accrue to our reputation globally because of the reputation that had already been established. Yes, you talked about where are we not doing well. I think I suggested it because I told you that we have 80% of it in the component of governance. You know, we have very strong factor in the area of culture that is getting so much credit for us. But culture can open doors. It cannot really keep the doors open. And so we've done a lot of work over the years to have that. But in terms of baseline for Nigeria's reputation as a nation and perception, we really do not have a baseline ever established. And this is the first attempt that NIPR has done, which, of course, over the years will rely on what other bodies outside Nigeria do. So this will be the baseline, and we hope that it will inform policy. We hope that the result will inform also planning and activities by different stakeholders so that we can continuously build towards a better reputation for Nigeria. And what, again, are we doing? I talked about the Nigerian Reputation Management Group. After releasing this report tomorrow, on Tuesday 28th, we are moving to Shehu Yaradua Center, where we're going to have our first reputation summit, which indeed, if you look at the title, it tells you that we are providing solutions to whatever result that we have seen and we're going to present tomorrow. The theme is Better Nigeria, Better Reputation. And so the former governor of Lagos,
just one quick issue, if you can hear me. My sincere apologies for butting in, because I know that you have quite a lot to say. The reason I'm asking is not because, I mean, you know, there hasn't, a lot of work hasn't gone into it. What informed it in the first place was the idea. What was the baseline? Where were we? And you've talked about the fact that governance was a major reason, the perception of people or perception of government. Now we know, everyone knows, that as far as the Nigerian is concerned, the government does not have reputation with them. Trust level is very, very low. And it's not just at the federal level, it's even a lot more at the state level. And people don't even reckon with the local government administrations at all. Is there anything that this report can do to begin reversing those perceptions from the people towards the government?
It's an assumption. There is no scientific data provided by anyone that looks globally at the issue of Nigerian reputation. This is what we have done at the moment. And so at the end of our presentation tomorrow, you would have seen that we have not only given the score for Nigerian reputation, we have identified the gaps, we have also identified the strengths, and that will actually improve both local perception and reputation, as well as the one by external forces, because it's a scientific study that has looked critically at the different segments that will help us to have a good reputation or a better reputation, as it were. So there is no scientific data that predates this study that we will be unveiling tomorrow. And this is what makes it significant, because now you are relying on data that can drive policy, data that can drive our planning in a way that we are not grouping in the dark, or we're not punching or assuming that this is what we think. You'll be surprised to find some of the details in that report, that areas where we think we are not doing well, indeed, we might be doing better than that. And this is why it's a very objective scientific report. And I invite Nigerians to join us tomorrow at the National Assembly Library Complex, so you can engage with the research team. You can receive the report firsthand. And of course, we would make it public shortly after the presentation tomorrow afternoon. So Nigerians can go to NIPR website and download the report, which becomes now our first national benchmark for measuring Nigerian reputation and perception. National benchmark for measuring Nigerian reputation and perception.
Very interesting. I certainly will look forward to being able to download that particular report and see what it is that you say, what you have found. But in the meantime, also we'll also be looking at cementing our reputation as a giant in the world of football this evening. I also imagine that you'll be very interested in that particular game. In the meantime, we have to thank you, Professor Daundara, Vice President in Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this morning.
You know, it would be very impolite of me not to thank our stakeholders. This is a report that virtually every serious segment in Nigeria has been waiting for. So we've had a lot of support.
Okay.
So tomorrow we would have the Deputy President of the Senate to chair. And we're also going to have Ambassador Joe Keshi, who is the special guest of honor, who will be speaking to us, what does reputation mean to a nation? And so we want to thank all our stakeholders from NUJ, to ASU, to GOCOP, to Ratao. We've worked with all these stakeholders that have, over the years, been investing in seeing that Nigeria has the right reputation. We really want to appreciate their effort. We also, of course, must thank the support we've always enjoyed from the Governing Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, because this is purely a private sector-driven initiative. It takes a lot of money to conduct this research. We didn't take 10 kobo from any entity, and that tells you that the Governing Council has trusted the concept and the idea of this, and that tells you too that indeed the reputation of Nigeria this time around will get the required attention, especially when various stakeholders play their role. Thank you for indulging me.
Indeed, Professor Daundara, once more, the Vice President, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, the NIPR. Well, that's where we'll wrap it up this beautiful Wednesday morning. I know that we will be looking forward to Thursday, the morning after the game played tonight. Will we be solidifying our reputation as the giant of football in Africa? Find out at 9 p.m. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I'm Maokwe Ogunyesu.
Don't forget, as Maokwe said, it's 9 p.m. And for those of you who are in my club, 10:45. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Business Morning is up next.